on to our next session. And
This is my number.
we do promise you that this is an afternoon session, but the kind of speakers and topics that we have lined up will make sure that there is not a single dull moment in the room all the way till the end. So our next session is an insight session on building the data pipeline to fuel finance. Our speaker for this session is Mr. Vinay Satyanarayana, who is the Vice President Products at Perfios. I'd request him to please take the stage. So Mr. Vinay Satyanarayana will share with us how availability and access to wider set of data can open up access to finance for the underserved consumers.
Am I audible? I hope so. Thanks, Samati. If you can bring this slide. Yeah. Thanks, Samati team, for giving an opportunity. Post-lunch sessions are hard, I understand. Let's see what best we can do. I've been given 10 minutes. It's not sufficient to cover the AA, but it is certainly sufficient to inspire what you should be doing on AA. So data per se is pretty hard. Pipeline, how to fuel the finance is something that everyone knows in terms of whether it's a financial inclusion or a PFM or a wealth advisory or something that you want to monitor, reduce your NPA, etc. can be done. But fundamentally, while this is known, how is where the missing challenges are in terms of can we do it at a lower cost, can we do it at a consented mechanism, how gracefully can we do it? Now, while we get into the nitty-gritties of it, let's also look at what has happened to the data. As Nandan rightly put, saying that data has been a byproduct of a digital transaction, which means the data from a paper. So the data per se, what we have in paper now has been converted into a digital format that has been further converted into a symmetric and homogeneous format where we see the data, what was asymmetric and heterogeneous has been converted into symmetric and homogeneous format. And this has been further into a curation, or what we call as categorization, segmentation of the data, and further into a recommendation. And then the eventual moksha of data is when it becomes generative. When the data itself is generating more data in terms of how to make it far better. So we as an industry, the entire BFSI segment, I feel is somewhere here, where the data we are trying to make it symmetric, homogeneous, whether I get the data from ICICI or HDFC or whatever bank that is, or whatever investment, etc. that we do it. And we are trying to curate it, we are trying to recommend it better and better. Now the way to scale this in the existing mechanism would be very hard. That means it needs a fat data pipe to cater to all these growing needs of the young Indian population for a larger financial inclusion and other things. Which means how do we go about doing it at a large scale? We do have systems that is existing, which is largely data in silos, data in proprietary mechanism, where you build your proprietary solution, figure out the data from the silo, which is largely error prone. You don't get a successful cases here, and then scalability is a big challenge. That's what the entire account aggregator, we've been going through these sessions in the morning and how it works, etc. It's not something that I want to talk about. It means opening up of data in a symmetric and homogeneous changes the game completely at a large scale. While this becomes quintessential for the larger picture and to how to embrace the AA, but what's in it for anyone to do it? All these things are theory is fine. If I am a financial institution, I am someone who's looking at a financial inclusion, I am someone who's looking at a lending, I am someone who's looking at a wealth advisory or an insurance, how do I go about leveraging on this? At least I think these are the streams that you should be focusing on. Take your problem statement. A is one size fits all, problem solves, which means you can say that I want to focus on customer experience. Build it. You can build it at the primary stage, in the first stage itself, on a customer experience, for a DSA, or for a repayment flows, etc. I'll just narrate one case of this. Or you say that my problem statement is to do a revenue generation. So you do a 360-degree nudges, cross-analysis, etc. Data is slowly becoming from a symmetric, homogeneous to a recommendation. Prior to that, it has gone to the curation and eventually get to the generative one. Or you say that for me, covering the risk management or an NPA becomes very difficult. So how do I go about monitoring this so that I know that I can predict the NPA? You can't stop the NPA 100%, but at least you can be very evident of it. Or say that I'll do a better cost savings. So what we have done in many cases is there is a fundamental disconnect in the way the entire system works. Is what AA has been happening slowly in the industry is it's a Ferrari car that's been run in a Mumbai or a Bangalore traffic. It defeats the purpose of it. Take it to the highway, it will certainly go at 300 kilometers an hour or even more. So many people whom I discuss with, whether financial inclusion, etc., focus on saying that I'm collecting a bank statement at the 4th or 5th step in the journey, I'll replace that with AA. That's where fundamentally it is wrong. While it serves the purpose, but it's not the right approach, as I meant. AA is a Ferrari car, don't take it in the traffic, there's no fun in it. So why don't we did an experiment with this and found the success rate for it? Because practically you are acquiring a customer paying a cost of 800 rupees, 1000 rupees, whatever it is for the customer acquisition, or got this at a rural segment, you need a larger success rate for the benefit of all. So instead, what we have done is to put this as an underwriting while onboarding. Why can't, when I'm coming to an app, give the mobile number at right there, can I get a right offer? It could be an insurance offer, it could be a loan offer, or it could be a wealth advisory, or selling of a particular mutual funds product, or an insurance product, or an equity product. Why can't we do it at the stage? So what we did was the complete overall of this engine saying that instead of me taking it the 4th step, 5th step, saying that I'll just replace your bank statement step or a GST step with your AA, instead bring it up front. Do it at the stage of onboarding. There are significant benefits in it. One, you save a lot of cost, which means to say that my drop-offs have reduced significantly. You have a success rate of hitting around 75 to 80% what it was at 35% earlier. So that's a significant improvement. There is no fraud. The data is real time. There is absolutely no human tampering. You don't have to worry about the fraud part of it completely. It leads to a better success rate, conversion rates, lesser fraud, real-time data, symmetric, homogeneous. You don't have to worry about whether the statement is ICICI, HDFC, whatever source that is, or CDSL, or any of them. So focus on this, build this at the stage of underwriting, on onboarding. At right then, when the customer gives a mobile number, OTP, inform them saying, you are eligible or not eligible, or it's a green, red, amber part, I'll come back to you. That's a far better customer experience. That's a far better way of overhauling the entire engine than just replacing today where the document is being collected to an AA. So this is an industry practice that we've been following where there is a successful. I'm not getting into a workshop demo because that is something that the we have a workshop that will take care of it in the interest of time. So if you were to be on an FIU side to focus on a financial inclusion, to focus on any product that you want to build, I would suggest to overlook your entire journey and relook at it, saying, where do I get this? Now, all these things are fine, but it looks lucrative. Now, why should I invest in an AA if I am a regulated entity? One, there's a consented data at scale. So you clearly are saying that this is the data that comes at consented. There is no more under-the-table data acquisition, etc. Gives the auditability completely a picture. Real-time symmetric data, we spoke about. Reduced cost, we spoke about how it has happened. Reduced frauds, again, we spoke about how it has happened. Lesser drop-off, higher success rate, higher conversion, better business, we spoke about. And with the data privacy bill and a lot of compliance coming in, AA becomes the de facto way, which means how do you prove that a customer has given you a consent? On what basis did you give a loan? And how do you get these things sorted out? That becomes a quintessential for to do this. So my suggestion for this is, while we keep talking about AA, relook at how you want to use AA. Don't replace the existing system with AA while that serves the purpose, but you're missing it. You're driving Ferrari in a traffic jam. You won't get into that biggest picture. While all these things are happening, this is what I had to talk about the segment part. The way I look at it is the next industrial revolution, what will happen when we see 3 years, 4 years from now, where India is in a better position, would have been because of the open API, because of the architecture that we have been building, on the interoperability that we have been building with different AAs, because that will lead to a larger financial inclusion, yielding into a better industrial revolution and a higher GDP, etc. And at least I have been in this AA, I live and breathe AA for the last few years. I've been in this AA, so I've faced situations in 2019 saying that, what is AA, why AA, to 2023 where the big banks are saying, how to AA, what is the right way to do? So I've been this for, so don't overestimate what AA can do in 2 months and underestimate what AA can do in 2 years. You will certainly miss the bus. So this is my presentation for 10 minutes. Thank you for your time. There's a lot to leverage on AA. Feel free to have any questions. I'll say 40 seconds for you.